Right, welcome to this Tactica and unit showcase for Sicarian Infiltrators. One of my favourite looking units for the Adeptus Mechanicus. I've got a very Scutari themed army, and so these do feature in the force. I really like the look of them, but we'll take a look at the models here in this video, and then we'll check out the stats for them from the new codex for Adeptus Mechanicus for 8th edition, and then strategy for them as well. And then we'll sort of illustrate how you can use them in the battlefield as well. Maybe you're considering using this unit, you can check out how to use them here in this video and what potential they have. So we'll zoom in now, take a look at some of the models. So here they are. This is the leader here. It's got the cape, looks really nice, and this skull. So the weaponry is a taser goad, that's that combat weapon there, like an electrical crowd control weapon. Like a cattle prod type weapon. And then a very unique weapon, it's a pistol with 5 shots, it's a flechette blaster. Nice weapon, I like it, I think it's cool. So there he is, it gives you all the details there. But he's quite tall, sort of a regular guardsman, sort of up to here. These are taller with their mechanical enhancements and bionic legs. That's the leader, and then the regular infantry looks something like this. Again, taser goad and flechette blaster. You can arm them differently, but this is the combination I go for. I think it's better and more unique for the Scutari. There they are. You do have to be careful with them. These things can break off, so when you transport them you have to be careful. You know, the arms and legs aren't particularly thick, so you do need to watch out for these. There's parts that can break on them. But they're a bizarre unit, but they do look cool. I really do like them. I love the heads, the domed shaped heads just look great. But we'll take a look at them now in the rules. So I go for unit 7, so that when they deploy, I usually deploy them like that. They look really cool. Leader in the middle, and then surrounded by guys. Just a 7's a nice number. It looks great when they deploy. Just nice symmetry. Just that. So we'll cover tactics here in this video as well, how to sort of get the most out of them. So the Scutari army that I have is an army that sort of clusters together. The vast majority of the army, this is the only unit really that's independent. All the rest of the army sticks together, and then they fight as one, and they move out if they need to. I do need a unit in the army that can turn up somewhere else in a far corner and do it quickly and accurately, and that's what these guys can do. So that's their role. It's a handy asset to have a unit that can do that. That's one of the major reasons why I've taken them. So infiltrators here, just give you a rundown on points for them. So they're 16 points a time. Taser goads, that's the close combat weapon, is 4 points, and then the flechette blaster is 2 points. They're 22 points each, times 7 is 154 points. They're not too bad. If they do get blown away, it's not a major unit that you've lost. Yeah, infiltrators. So you can take the standard size unit is 1 infiltrator precept, and or princeps, and then 4 infiltrators. You can take 5 of them extra, so you can go up to unit of 10. I've gone for 7. I wouldn't go for less than 7. I think to keep their potential to be useful as a unit, they need to be 7 or more. So 7 is what I've gone for. The standard loadout is stud carbine and power sword. So we'll come to that in just a moment. You get 8-inch moves, so they're quick enough. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 3+, so they're reliable for shooting and for combat. Strength 4, it's a nice starting point. Toughness 3, but they do have 2 wounds. 2 attacks for these guys. Leadership 6, which is poor. Then a 4-up, so the leader gives you an extra bit of leadership. Leadership 7, but it's still not that great. 3 attacks for the leader though, same amount of wounds. So the standard loadout is a stud carbine and power sword. The stud carbine is range 18, which is pretty good. It's pistol 3. So there's 21 shots there for that unit. That's a nice lot of shots. Strength 4, which is okay. No AP, minus 1 damage. Then the power sword is strength for the user, which is going to be you're on freeze to hit. Strength 4, so usually I'm something like 4s to wound. And then AP minus 3 and 1 damage. So that's decent enough. Power sword you'll be paying 4 points for. It's the same cost. And the stud carbine is 2 points, so it's maybe a bit of a cheaper option. So I that's an okay choice to go for, but I like the unique weaponry for Scitari, and so the Taser Goad is very unique, and I like to go for that. So Taser Goad is 2 points, so you add 2 to your strength. These guys always fight, it's not when you charge, it's always fight at strength 6, which is cool. Then the rules for this thing: no AP minus, 1 damage. Each hit roll of a 6+ with this weapon causes 3 hits rather than 1. So the idea of these is you saturate your opponent with loads of hits. So these are helpful against sort of regular infantry. So even regular space marines, a tactical squad. Just saturate loads of hits. Anything with a poor save as well. So guardians, orc boys, saturate them with loads of hits. You're forcing loads of armor saves. On a poor armor save, you're just going to drop loads and loads of models. So that's the kind of thing they're pretty good against. Vehicles not so much really. You can still, even with strength 6, you have 5s to wound. You get some wounds. Your opponent's going to get the full armor save. You're not going to do much damage. So it's more light infantry, ambush. They're better at. They do benefit from Canticles of the Omnissiah, which is helpful. You know, reroll 1s of shooting, reroll 1s in combat, which is all very good. Can help them out to some degree. So they then get, they do get the 6+ invuln save, which occasionally is going to help you out, but usually you're going to be relying on that 4+ save for protection. They are infiltrators, so you get to deploy wherever you want, as long as you're more than 9 inches away from the opponent. And that's the key to them, is their ambush ability. Now, more than 9 inches away, thankfully, their Flechette Blaster pistols are range 12, so you should be able to ambush and fire your pistols. Pistol 5, so now this unit gets 35 shots. So a lot of firepower. And if you catch the right target, you can really cause trouble. Strength 3 though, but you're going to plaster them with loads of shots. Then Neurostatic Aura. Enemy units within 3 inches must subtract 1 from the leadership. I often forget that rule, but if you find yourself in combat or close by to an enemy unit, they do lose -1 from the leadership. It's not a very significant rule. So, we'll do some illustrations here. There is some enhancements, some helpful stuff for these. Yeah, I thought it was here. This has been pointed out to me before. Conqueror Doctrina Imperative. Use this stratagem before a Scitari unit from your army fights. This is combat. Add 1 to its hit rolls you make for the unit this phase. If the unit has an enhanced data TEF or a broad spectrum data TEF, you can add 2 to the hit rolls instead. Now this is very, very helpful. These guys needed 6s to get all those hits come through. If you play this Conqueror, then your 5s that you roll turn into 6s. And so then you get that as well. So all of a sudden you're on 5s. So if you get a load of attacks and in 5s, suddenly you can generate, you pretty much double the amount of special hits that you can get. So that's a little way to bonus those. It's easily forgotten. It's cheap to do it. You may well find it's worth doing. Maybe a combat they've gone into, you really need to hit the opponent with loads of hits. You just play that command point. That gets them a much higher chance of causing trouble. So that's a good one. Specifically for them, is very, very good. Conqueror Doctrina Imperative. And I think that is about it. Yeah, there's another one here. There's another one here. It's specific for Mars though. I've gone for Mars, so this is not going to apply. It may not apply to your Vaudois, but Wrath of Mars here. It's 2 command points, quite expensive. But I'm just thinking this may well be good for these guys with their shots, because they've got 35 pistol shots. Use a stratagem before a Mars unit from your army attacks in the shooting phase. Each time you make a wound of a 6 for that unit, the target suffers a mortal wound in addition to any other damage. That could be horrific. If you hit your opponent with, say, 28 hits, and then you roll a wound, it's low strength, but any 6s you get to wound, you've got your usual damage plus a mortal wound. That is nasty as well. Wrath of Mars. The more shots from a unit, the better, and these guys can kick out. I think it's the most shots from any of my units. Any of my infantry, yeah, these guys kick out the most shots, so that stratagem specifically for them. And if you had a unit of 10 of them, yeah, that's like 50 shots. Yep, so that's pretty nasty. That is actually really good. And something else, like I'm just thinking of strategy. Say your opponents, they used to have infiltrate, right? Yeah, so you could use these as a counter unit. Say your opponent's got a nasty, he's got a nasty unit of some kind. He's going to deep strike in. It's scary. You don't know where it's going to turn up. Could cause trouble. That unit does arrive, and it is causing trouble for your army. These guys, meanwhile, held in reserve. You deploy them, and then a large unit of them, say at 10. You then deploy them, play Wrath of Mars, and then plaster them with a load of mortal wounds. And it sounds like a great remedy just there. So I think that strategy would work pretty good. Yeah, no, I think that would work pretty good actually. So there's an okay unit with the help of some stratagems could turn into something pretty nasty if you know your stratagems. It can really help them out. I'm gonna line up a few scenarios for now with these to see how they can be used. Yeah, so just thinking about this, this is interesting, right? You could do a unit of 10 of these, and maybe some of you are already playing this. I've just thought of something. You play a unit of 10 of them, which is 50 shots, 50 dice. You could then play this stratagem here, Protect Doctrine Imperative. So that's add 1 to your hit rolls in the shooting phase. They go from 3+ to hit to 2+ to hit. And then if you coordinated that, if you rolled up here on as one of these reroll hit rolls of 1, that's fight phase, shooting phase, Benediction of the Omnissiah. So especially I play Mars, so I get 2 rolls on this, and with Belisarius Call I can adjust that +1 -1, so there's a high chance I can get that on a turn. So imagine 10 of them at 50 shots, then 2s to hit, re-rolling 1s. You're going to hit with like 45 hits, and then, or more, and then you could hit with all of them. And then you play that Wrath of Mars just there, all of your wounds at 6+ become mortal wounds. That is utterly horrific. And the ability for them to ambush and do that to a unit, they'll take out. You could kill anything. It's horrific. I'm thinking of a unit like a Terminator, something with amazing save, or really good invuln save, and then the mortal wounds are very, very powerful if you can coordinate them well. And that's a good coordination there. I reckon that's pretty deadly. And it's going to cost you about 200, just over 200 points for that unit. So maybe some of you have already using that. Or maybe you're an AdMech player and I've just pointed out to you and not realised the potential that these guys have. So a nasty unit potentially there, and to really max that out, I would go for the unit of 10. So add 3 more to this unit, and then play that combination of stratagems and just delete something with blistering mortal wounds coming through. Absolutely nasty. We're going to line up there, go on to a few scenarios here just to illustrate how these can be used. Yeah, I can't resist it here. I'm going to have to roll this up just to see. So I've got 36 dice here. Let's just say that scenario plays out and a major threat like a unit of these has landed nearby it. So we'll roll. I'll do 36 and just re-roll the ones for them. So you've played those stratagems that I talked about, and you have that canticle in play as well. So there's your hits, here's your re-rolls. There's triple ones, so some have missed. So that's 36. 46, 50. So we're on 2s and reroll. Yeah, so those have all hit just there. So I'll add, it's all of them plus this lot hit. Yeah, so it's 50 minus 3, so it's 47. Then look at the 6s. For wounds, it's 5s to wound these guys, but 6s is what you're after. And there's 6 of them. And then I'll put the 5s over here as well. There's another one. Looks like these Terminators are in big trouble. 5s to wound. I'll roll these up here as well. Those have all passed. That's the power that these guys have at 2 up save, but the mortal wounds go straight through just there. And then there's 11 more to roll up here. Again, needing 6s, and there's 2 more. So that is almost a wipeout. And that's actually a pretty poor roll. But using that cheap enough unit, and with a couple of stratagems which you get free of charge, and then that canticle being in place just all builds up the accuracy of that, their potential what they could do. They've just been the sergeant left on a wound, obliterating a very powerful unit indeed. But back to my regular unit here, so landing them in just over 9 inches away. So they'll be back here. And then for this size unit I would have 35 shots. But it's this kind of target here I'd look to ambush. An isolated unit somewhere, perhaps a hordes type unit, one that's quite weak with a poor armor save is the kind of target you'd be after. So let's just take this raw as it comes, no bonuses whatsoever. So you're on freeze to hit. It's still scary enough just with a small unit. Just here. Those are your misses. And then 5s to win. So, and orcs are tough enough. And then the 6s to save, none. And that's 8 killed here out of 12. So that unit's been, that's unit 12. So they're all gone. Now that unit's wrecked now, it's taken out and destroyed. And then making a charge is, well, it might go ahead, it might not. 9 is enough, so they would make it into combat and get to go first, and they would destroy those with all of those shots coming through. And remember that stratagem we talked about earlier on with that, that you can play a +1 to the hit rolls, so then your 5s and 6s become that bonus where you get extra hits coming in against the target. But that's why I rate the infiltrators here, and just as I was filming the video, I came to realise the potential if you took the max amount, so a unit of 10, then played that series of stratagems and that canticles in place, you've actually got yourself an incredibly nasty unit potentially. So I think that's pretty effective. So that's the Tactica and unit showcase for these. I think the models look great, they're very iconic, especially for Scutari themed army, and I do recommend them. They're handy to have. A lot of my army fights together as one, all the units benefiting each other and they hang around together, but these guys I can send them out, deploy them in the furthest corner of the battlefield, that great infiltrate ability that they have. And then they're nasty enough, and then if you are looking to make them really nasty, then play those couple of stratagems there, and incredibly nasty unit potentially with those. Maybe you've seen that before, maybe you use that combination, you're already aware of it, maybe not, or maybe there's other combinations that you know. Leave that in the comment section. If you're an experienced player with AdMech, then share your experiences specifically with these, and then any other combinations, clever tactics you can use with those, and then other players, perhaps people starting to collect Adeptus Mechanicus, can glean some experience. Or maybe you have an army, you haven't been doing too well with these. They're not one of the top rated armies, but I think if you work at an army, you can, and you know your rules and you know your combinations, especially with hidden gems that are buried inside those stratagems and relics and so on, you can make a lot of the units work really well. And I think we've discovered here in this video a real potential for these infiltrators. So great unit, potentially deadly. Leave your comments and feedback, and keep a lookout for more tactics and showcase videos on the channel. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time. Oh yeah, and just before you go, I reckon I would call it the Sicarian Infiltrator Bomb. I reckon that's a good name, but see what you think. Come up with your own idea for that maxed out unit and stratagem, but the Infiltrator Bomb sounds cool.